Hi, this is John Ondo from Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're back after being gone for over 4.5 years. And I hope you get a chance to listen to episode 77, where we explain why we were gone for so long and that we're back for at least 3 more episodes. Angel and I are big supporters of entrepreneurship, and we love small businesses and faith-based businesses. And we just want to encourage you through our podcast each week. What's going to determine if we continue with more episodes will be the response. Subscribe to us on your platform. Send us an email at john@ondomedia.com. That would help us know you're listening and you want more episodes. So thank you so much, and let's get into today's episode.
But I feel that we've missed an opportunity here, and maybe you'll want to go back because this is our first one back.
Oh, I know.
I was waiting for you to say,
I'll get
welcome
there.
back. And then I was like, there should be the welcome back theme the welcome back Cotter song playing in the background.
I can't play that due to licensing issues.
This is true, but I could sing it.
You could?
Well,
Okay.
But I just thought you were going to say, welcome back.
Nah,
and then you didn't. So
I was going to say it later, but it's okay.
I ruined it.
Well, this is why we don't script this. But
this is true. But okay.
This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
So welcome. This is actually episode 63 of Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. I'm John Ondo. I am a filmmaker. I have a media production company. I call myself a media influencer. And along with me is my beautiful wife, Angel.
Hi there.
She is a customer service expert. She also has a side hustle of a cupcake business, hence why you may have figured out we call this podcast Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. And for those of you, thank you so much for the cards and letters concerned that we had died. And for
yes.
And for those of you who are new, we are on episode 63. We have done, up until 62, we had done 62 episodes in a row. Over a year. We never missed a week. We never stopped. I was very proud of that, even when some episodes we recorded the day and posted them immediately after.
Literally.
Because by God, we are not going to miss a week.
No.
And right around August, I said we are going to skip a few weeks. We're in the middle of a remodel at our home,
yes.
which I have a home office. I'm in the middle of the busiest time of year with we're currently producing television programs for a TV station. We are producing several fundraising videos, and we're heavily involved in church consulting.
Yes.
So I am running around like crazy.
Yes, he's never here.
And you have been busy again with doing cupcakes.
It was a weekly thing, almost every week, 1 or 2 orders for like a solid 7 or 8 weeks.
And you went back to the office.
And then we went back into the office.
For your customer service gigs.
30%, two in-home, 1 there, and now we're back to 50%.
And we had done a couple shows. I'm not saying any of them were less par than normal, but I just began to think, we haven't been able to have guests. We haven't been able to really do the quality job that people expect with Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes.
Exactly. And we just got tired of talking to each other.
Well, that was not the case. We needed to talk. So we took what was supposed to be a couple weeks off. It ended up being 5 weeks off.
Has it been that long?
And it's not, and it wasn't that we took the time off and like went on a boat or something. We basically have just been putting out fires. So I get that if you're small business owners, you get it. So that is what has happened.
But we're back.
We're fine. We're okay. We are excited. And actually today I'm very excited.
Yes.
We're going to have a good friend of ours, Michele Savoldi, on. She's involved in fundraising for a nonprofit.
Yes.
So before you go and say, oh, let me listen to another podcast, I don't deal with nonprofits. Basically, just switch out the word fundraising with sales.
Yes.
I believe when you go out and you invest in the community, when you sow into the community, plant seed, as we say often in the church and different things, you grow something back.
Yes.
And if your business is struggling, if your business is not where it's supposed to be, and Lord knows, for most of us, it isn't right now, I believe giving is a big, big key to helping you. And so you might say, well, I can't give any money to a nonprofit. No, but are you somebody who does graphics? Maybe you could offer your services for free to a nonprofit in town. Or are you a really good business leader? Maybe you should start putting your name out there that I would love to help you on your board of directors and help fundraise.
There are many, many ways to do without handing out a check.
I really believe in that. I believe it's the reason we are the success we are now. And so it's important to me. So that's my 2 cents of advice. Back in back in the saddle again here at the Marketing Media Company
Welcome
headquarters.
back.
Welcome back. So 2020 has been a crappy, bad. Probably half of our clients at Ondo Media are nonprofits. We work with a lot of nonprofits, helping them communicate their fundraising needs on video, either for presentations at fundraising events or for social media. And they've been kicked in the gut quite a bit. And so today we wanted to help out. So if you're involved with a nonprofit, if maybe you're on the board of a nonprofit or you help out a nonprofit, listen and share this with your friends. Because I got a great friend with us, Michele Savoldi, and she is the Senior Corporate Relations with the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. Michele, how are you doing today?
Hi, very good. How are you guys?
We're doing fine. So
Good.
when you're working, it's corporate relations, but a lot of your job is development, which is AKA fundraising.
Correct.
How has 2020 been for you?
Well, 2020 has been a pill. I'll tell you that.
Pill. I'm going to write that one down.
I like that. That's what my nursery school teacher used to call me every
That's
day.
a really nice way to say it.
Is it a complete, dumpster fire for you guys, or has it been?
No, nonprofits across the board, yes, it has been awful. But because the food bank is like a health and human services nonprofit, those nonprofits are doing well because, the media, I'm sure you've seen, has really done a lot of footage on the cars lined up all over the country, waiting for a box of food every week. We're all human. People should not be hungry.
Right.
I mean, people should not have to look for food.
No, not in this great United States.
I know Michele for years, and I've worked with nonprofits literally since I was a teenager, and I know the rule of thumb has always been, and this sounds reverse of what it should be, when the economy is doing better, nonprofits typically don't, and when the economy has a recession or a big dip like we've gone through, nonprofits typically do better because people are just more compassionate. How have you find that to be true, and how's it worked this year?
Well, typically that would probably be a true statement. However, 2020 is like the perfect storm. And it's like a tsunami because, you have COVID, and then you have an election year, and then you're going to have economic hardships. So it's just this crazy storm of junk that is really just keeps bashing everybody.
So how have you handled it? Like in your new role, or not new, but newish role there with the food bank, knowing that food is such a key thing right now for people. How has that impacted your need and how you've addressed that need?
We used to have monthly distributions, to give you an idea, where we would serve between 800 and 1,000 households. After COVID happened, and especially when people were waiting for stimulus checks and some assistance from the government, the need was huge. And so we had to change over to a weekly distribution, and we had to move to the Muni lot where the Cleveland Browns have their tailgating for a larger space, because we were serving every single week, probably anywhere from 2,500 to 2,700 households every single week.
And you're probably also on top of that dealing with the new regulations and don't touch and don't
6 feet and all that fun stuff.
Exactly. I mean, so what happened too, if even from the other spectrum that is very important for a nonprofit is volunteering.
Yes.
And so when that happened, all the volunteering had to stop. So luckily for the food bank, and this happened for food banks across the state of Ohio, is the National Guard stepped in and took
awesome.
place of volunteers. And actually they're still at our location. They're still there probably through the end of the year, which is been a huge help, because, the volunteers, they save us so much money on salaries and extra staff and stuff. So volunteers are so valuable.
We can look at the past as much as we want. The times have changed. We do have, I think, a new reality. And as I look at 2021, are there things we've learned in a crisis, Michele? What have you learned, as far as, like you just mentioned, communication, and so many things switched to Zoom, and being online and social media just became a raging river of posts and stuff. What are some of the things that you guys adapted with your nonprofit to get the word out?
In my prior life, I've done a lot of marketing for many, many years. And I've always said development and marketing go hand in hand. And so now more than ever, marketing is going to be extremely important. And we've done a lot of projections and looking at things. I mean, I think it's going to be a long time before things get better. We may have a vaccine, but I think that consumer and donor trust is going to take some time to come back into play. I think that the economy is probably going to suffer for a while. So, giving is going to be a little slower to come back. But if you have a really strong message, a strength-based message across the board, and I don't mean, just like, oh, we're going to do it, but I mean like a strong in your relationships, making sure that you're really talking to your donors and your volunteers and your community, the media, making sure that everybody is kind of in the know as to what the need is, what you're doing, how they're helping, inviting them to join a movement, to be part of something bigger, to make a bigger difference in their own community. When you really start telling people that they can help make a difference and make the place that they live a better place, I think that's powerful. And I think that people will try to pull it together to help.
You mentioned marketing, and for a lot of people when they do development, it's fundraising. But how do you see marketing different than fundraising? Because I see this as a big issue that most nonprofits don't think about. They think about the fundraising communication, but they don't look at the marketing. How do you define those?
Well, definitely when people nowadays are just way too savvy. I mean, the internet makes us be able to research anything, get information. So you want to make sure that your marketing is first consistent across the board. So that would include whatever you're putting in your email messaging, whatever you're putting in a flyer that you put together on your website. If you want to do a video, if you want to do social media and have images, that all has to be consistent and your message has to be strong and clear across the board. So that when people look at you, they know exactly what you're doing, how they can help, how it's going to make a difference. And people look at things all different types of things. Some people are just social media people. Some people are just visual, so they just want to see it in a video. Some people still want to read or hold a piece of paper. So you want to make sure it's consistent across the board because that's the strength. That's your strength messaging.
That's absolutely true. And I keep saying how the people consume your media is different. Some, if I can't go through McDonald's and order a T-bone steak and a souffle, you're consuming fast food because you're on the go and you're doing the thing versus if you go to a Cameron Mitchell or a fancy 5-star, you're sitting down and you're consuming things at a different rate. And media, social media, I think is the same way. There are the quick Instagram, hey, we're here and here's a fact. Versus maybe a 3-minute fundraising video, which is more like a steak, where you're really getting to paint a picture for someone.
Well, it goes back to everything you've always said. It's about an experience.
Oh, yes. I said that. That was very good.
He has said that before. It's about an experience. And I guess that's a question I want to throw out is having attended these fundraisers with John over the years and now you can't do that physical in person. What have you done to adapt to that for this year or looking into next year?
Yeah, we definitely had to make some changes very quickly. So basically, when the governor shut everything down and said only groups of 10 could get together, we had in like 3 weeks after that, we were going to have our Market at the Food Bank event that was going to have hundreds of people there. We already had food vendors lined up. We had entertainment lined up. Everything was ready to go. So one of our big words this year, which I think will continue into 2021, is to be flexible and to be nimble because we had to make changes on the fly. We had to pivot very, very fast. Sure. So, in the fundraising world and in marketing, what it goes with it is sponsorships. So I'm in charge of a lot of sponsorships through events. And with those sponsorships comes marketing benefits, whether it's web, whether it's signage, being in the program, being a part of the video. So I had to go once they figured out what they were going to do, and we changed it to a virtual event. It was called Market at Home instead of at the food bank. And we made the conscious decision to probably not make as much money in ticket sales or auction items, but we really wanted to help our community as well and encourage people to go to these restaurants that were going to help provide food for us. So
nice.
Yeah, luckily.
Was this a Zoom thing or was it just a campaign?
It was a Facebook Live week-long event. So,
oh, wow.
Neat.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we had it every single night. We featured a different restaurant each night. We had sponsors that sponsored the night each night. And then as a benefit, instead of getting tickets to eat the food, we bought tickets to give to our sponsors with the expense dollars that we had for the event. So they were able to order from these restaurants. So the restaurants really appreciated it. We made money, all the sponsors, except for maybe 3 or 4 decided to stay on the event. The other ones wanted their dollars to go to the COVID relief fund. So we didn't lose any money, which was very, very, I was
That's
very
impressive.
thankful.
Yeah, definitely.
And the event was fun. I mean, you really have to watch when you're going to do a virtual event. You don't want to everybody's Zooming all day long now. You don't want video burnout, screen, chatting burnout. And so you really got to be mindful of how long your event is, what you're doing. We found that a lot of virtual demonstrations, a cooking class or a mixology class, or, do an exercise class with somebody. If they're doing something while they're watching, it's a little bit more interesting and people will buy tickets to do that kind of a thing.
I mean, John and I attended, right out of the gate, he found something and we were doing whiskey tastings, which you're
online.
thinking to yourself, how do you do a whiskey tasting online? Well, if you're whiskey aholics like we are, well, you have all the things. And so now you just get to learn about it.
It was, and it was an experience.
And it was an
fun.
experience. And we didn't have to worry about driving.
Yeah,
so,
and we also did for some of our recipes that we did, we sent everybody what ingredients they needed to get so they could either order it and have it shipped or go get it, and then they could make it right there, and have it.
How
so you
fun.
should do a cupcake thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
How fun. Ooh.
Great idea. And the other thing you really need, and I know that John will totally understand, but you need good video. If people are going to be sitting, you got to watch something that's going to tell a good story, that's going to tear at the heartstrings a little bit, that's going to really show what the mission of the organization is so that people feel a connection. And I think now, because we've been doing this which feels like 500 years, but only 6 months.
Literally.
But I think people are kind of getting used to this way of working.
There are people who do not like what I refer to as the hoity-toity events. Nope. They would rather just cut a check and not deal with it. But there is something about if I can do it from home and still network a little bit, that's a neat new option we haven't had in the past. Yeah. So I don't think it's, when people say, oh, this has changed forever and we're never going back. No. It's going to be a hybrid model, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Michele, you gave me a couple points here. We talked about events a little bit and retooling events, but you mentioned about sharing stories. Tell me a little bit about the must-haves in 2021 fundraising that you're looking at.
Yeah, well, you definitely need to have a library, and depending on how big your nonprofit is, your library could be 5 great stories or it could be 50 great stories. But you really need to hone in on whatever it is that your mission does, and in a story of how the mission really helped this family, individual, business, whatever it is that this mission helps. And you need to make sure that you're sharing that story in all of your markets. Moving forward, I think that things need to be done with being genuine and having compassion. I really think we did a whole study with Feeding America about how compassion fundraising is going to kind of be the next wave, because you really need to be not only just passionate about what you do, but you need to show compassion, not even for just what you do and who you do it for, but compassion for that donor that is giving money, because they could choose anybody that they want. So really being compassionate about what you're doing, but also who you're doing it with. There needs to be a really great story in there. There needs to be a way to show that if you give, this money, this is the difference that you're going to make for this person or this animal or this, organization.
Yeah. People want to see results. People want to be part of a winner. I know one of the struggles I've dealt with many times with nonprofits is that they will sit back and say, well, we actually are doing pretty good right now, so we feel a little embarrassed asking for more. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just be Americans for a minute. Americans love a winner. People want to support a winner. Do you want to support the American Red Cross because they've got things going to every hurricane and everything? Or do you want to support a nonprofit that, our truck broke down and we need a new one? Well, I want my money to go somewhere where it's having an impact. So you support a winner, and you need to show yourself as a winner. And if you're doing well, don't be embarrassed to say, hey, we're doing great and we're expanding our outreach or we're expanding our thing. So
we're doing great. And the more we give, the more reach we can make.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Farther we can go.
I mean, this year is the perfect example of something can happen that nobody would ever predict or expect that would rock your entire world. So there's nothing wrong with planning for an unforeseen situation.
Exactly.
You mentioned personal contact, and that could go across the board as being one of the keys. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we haven't had much. which is, you know,
Not physically.
not because we don't want to. We miss people, you know, like I like human beings. I like to like talk to people and actually sit and have coffee together and stuff. So, but you know, right now in this world, it is very virtual, but we're finding ways to make it personal and feel personal. You know, we're taking that compassionate, personal approach by asking them, instead of asking them for their time or their dollars or wherever, we're asking them for their advice. We're asking them how they're doing. Like, how did this affect you? How did this affect your job, your company, your family? Like, are you doing okay? You know, so
how are you doing that? Are you doing that on like Instagram, or are you doing it on social media or direct mail? How?
Most of it is really is personal connection, personal communication. And so, you know, when you do have really great messaging, branding, you know, you're creating personal relationships with your donors and your volunteers, and you can start to talk to them about, you know, regular stuff and just check in. And, you know, in this world, most people aren't in the office, so mailing something is harder. So it's a lot of email, although I'm already finding that when you're emailing a lot of attachments, it goes to wherever.
Spam, yeah.
So,
Never land.
You know, we do a lot of like, I think a website and like back end pages of a website that aren't live that can maybe house some PDFs and documents. And then you can share a link to that page so that people can see documentation that you really would like to share with them. Is probably going to be a good way to go if you have a lot. But, you know, and then, you know, in our messaging, we definitely, we created just a short little video. It does not even need to be long. And it's one of those, like, it's not a John Ondo production, that's for sure. No. But it is, you know, like a more of an organic, you know, easy social share. And it was of our distribution. And it was like just snippets of giving food, and people would open their trunks and put it in. People had masks on. People were holding thank you signs in their windows. And it was just a thank you to the community, to, you know, the National Guard who helped us, to volunteers who would come and help. And it just showed that, you know, we are a tough city that comes together at a really rough time. And it resonated with a lot of people.
I'd imagine.
Are you doing the same amount of social posts, more, less, or is more strategic? I mean, has that changed at all in this?
Well, I mean, I'm in part of that big umbrella of communication, but that's not my direct.
Yeah.
If I were doing it, I probably would be doing it more.
Sure.
But, you know, they definitely have a calendar that they follow. There are different things that they promote. You know, they're talking to our clients as well.
Sure.
So letting them know information on how and where and when they can get the food. And a lot of times, if you, like, especially for churches and stuff, if you tell them what you did with the money or show them what their dollars were able to do, you don't even have to ask for money, because then people will see that and they'll want to
continue it.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
Sure.
So tell us how people can get involved with the Greater Cleveland or whatever food bank they're near.
I mean, definitely for anybody who's outside of Ohio, if you go to Feeding America, Feeding America is the kind of main hub of all of the food banks all across the United States. So if you don't live in Ohio, but like where you guys are in Columbus, you have the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, which is a really amazing food
really
bank.
Good.
That does great things. In Northeast Ohio, we've got the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. There's Akron has a food bank. I mean, there's various food banks all over, because I mean, that just tells you the need is so great. Yeah. So, you know, if anybody would like to get involved, you know, greaterclevelandfoodbank.org. There is a slew of things. I mean, if you like to volunteer, we have safe volunteer opportunities. Obviously, if you like to give, we're coming up on the holiday season. So this holiday season is going to be even more of a need than ever before. We have people coming to our food bank who have never used a food bank before in their lives.
Yeah. So, and if you are someone who is listening and you are in need, because that was something that I have literally never thought about it. I mean, I've talked to a few people and it's like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like if I was in need, I wouldn't even know where to go. So where would you recommend, if there is somebody who may be out there listening, whose small business has been suffering and is too proud to go or doesn't even know where to go?
Well,
what would you tell
them? In Cleveland, at our food bank, we have a help center. So if you go on our website, greaterclevelandfoodbank.org, you will click on the How Can You Help? There's a help center that you can call, you can email, and they literally will connect you to any type of service that you need. We have agencies that we work with that they can direct you to. They work with SNAP benefits so that you can get food that way. We've done a lot of stuff with schools. I mean, when you think about how the kids didn't go to school for so long, there's some kids who didn't get meals because school wasn't happening.
School was their food. Yep.
So, the need is great. The opportunities are a lot. And each food bank is different because it's very community based. But if you look up your local food bank, you will definitely be surprised how great of a need every community has.
Well,
wonderful.
Michele, again, you could be doing work for a Fortune 500 and rolling around in a Bugatti and all that fun stuff, but you love you love working with nonprofits and helping people, and you're my favorite kind of person because you do that. So God bless you, and we thanks for taking some time on the show today.
Yeah, definitely. Super fun.
And we'll have links in our info page here that if you want to find out more to get involved, we encourage you to do so.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me help create some awareness. It's important.
Wow, that was great information from Michele today. And like we said at the beginning of the show, give. If you are somebody right now that you don't have enough business, consider, can you help a nonprofit that you're involved in, a church? We're working with a good friend right now who is working with a group that's helping to bring an end or help bringing women out of sex trafficking. And she is passionate about it, and she's doing that work. So whatever the case may be, if your business isn't, if you're not busy, then you know what, give and figure out a way you can. I believe that's key to success.
I would agree.
So if you are new to us, thank you for listening. Please share us, subscribe to us. We have a Facebook page. And we have an Instagram page, and I'll be honest, we have been off for a few weeks. We are getting that geared back up. I do not have the website yet. I'm working on it. We're going to get a website.
I think you'll survive for now.
We will survive. It's just a very busy season for us, and I'm grateful for that. But if you want to find out more about our businesses, my business is called Ondo Media, ondomedia.com. We do filmmaking, fundraising, documentaries, podcast production. And if you are in the Central Ohio area and you have a sweet tooth, angelscustomcupcakes.com. She does custom cakes, but she's really good at custom cupcakes. But for some reason, everybody seems to want a custom cake.
I'm just really good at all of it. That's the problem.
She's really good at all of it, but she really would do better if she could just do the cupcakes. Because
I do fine at all of it.
Because when she tells me I have to do a cake this weekend, well, I'll see you later.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
I'm just going to be in the garage working on the Miata because we're not going to be, I won't be seeing you.
Not for a little while.
So again, thanks for listening and thanks for joining us. And whatever you got going on, please keep living the dream.
Connect with John and Angel via Facebook and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes is a production of Ondo Media.